guys, Orly here, founder of LifeVestInside. And I want to thank each and every one of you for deciding to kick off your week with me on the weekly Kindness Kickoff with Orly, now coming at you every Sunday, where I do a reading from my book, Kindness Boomerang, How to Save the World and Yourself Through 365 Daily Acts. And then I give you, myself, and all of us out there an exciting kindness challenge based on the reading. You could pick up your copy of the Kindness Boomerang book directly on our website at LifeVestInside.com. All the proceeds go directly to the nonprofit organization to help us continue to do great work in the world. Or you could also get it from one of the online retailers, either Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, IndieBound, Target, iTunes. So check it out there. But you can also win your copy right here. In the very, very beginning of every month, I announce one winner who wins 2 copies of the book, one for themselves and then one to gift forward to someone else. So how do you win? Simply by engaging on the platform, sharing your thoughts, your feedback, the act of kindness that you did, being able to lend your voice to the community. So I'll be announcing the winner for the month of January next week. Be sure that you tune in for that. The book itself is broken into 1 page a day. For every day, an act, a quote, and a short reflection on the power of paying it forward, giving you ways to start seeing the opportunities for kindness that exist around you. We do have an exciting promotion going on with LifeVestInside, so I want to mention that right now. Currently at the LifeVestInside website, when you purchase one of our awesome LVI sweatshirts, and they are super, super comfy cozy, you get another one absolutely free that you can gift forward to someone else. So that's a really great way to make a purchase with a purpose. We do have limited supply, so be sure you check that out on the website as well. This week's act is coming to us from January 26th, and it was actually inspired by a comment that one of the users has written on the YouTube page. And they wrote as follows. Thank you, Orly. I have a dream to become a better person, a kinder person, a more patient person, and a more diligent person. I've been working towards this goal for 2 years now. The only reason I still work towards it is because of you, Orly. You are a real inspiration. First off, let me just say that the reason that you're working towards it is because of you, in fact. It's important to recognize the work that we do in bettering ourselves. But I do want to thank you so much for that comment. It actually leads very beautifully into this week's act, coming to us from January 26th, and it goes as follows. Commit to reading a book about values or ethics. And the quote by Plutarch. Character is simply habit, long enough continued. And the reflection. Slow down. Perfecting your character isn't a marathon, a race, or a competition. It can only be won in stride, with daily motivation. The key? Don't read the book all at once. Remember, you aren't simply reading, you're absorbing. Set aside 5 minutes every day to open yourself up, allowing the words to penetrate your mind and, most important, your heart. The real work begins after you put the book away and head out into the real world. With a little focus, you'll find that opportunities to implement the words and teachings will be more apparent than ever. Nope, it's not magic. Those opportunities were always there. You are simply becoming more aware of them. So what is our purpose here in this world? And some of you have heard me say this in the past. Really, it boils down to perfecting our character. Because those are the things that we are remembered for. Each and every one of us come into this world with certain character traits already in place and others that we really need to work at. And it's not something like instant gratification that you start working on it on one day and then you're all good to go the next day. Just like this amazing user pointed out in their comment before I read the act. It's something that takes years. It's something that takes patience, takes time. Because what it is, it's actually the inner work. It's much easier to look out into the world and to see all that is going wrong and to be able to point fingers. Can't believe that they're making these decisions. How come these people are doing this or how come they're doing that? It's much more difficult to actually remain silent, to be with ourselves, to look into ourselves and to be able to ask ourselves the hard questions of how can I become the person that I want to be, to leave that legacy? How is it that I want to be remembered? Am I leading my life that way? So why is the act here? Why is it an act of kindness, for example, to commit to reading a book about values and ethics? Very often when we read these kinds of books, it's things that are to do with common sense, right? We all know these things to be true. But books of this nature aren't meant to be read in one shot. They're meant to be absorbed. And in order to absorb something, you have to be able to meditate on it, to be able to allow it to sit on you, to contemplate it. Back several years ago, more than several years ago, I started taking upon myself a book also that is a lesson a day book. Happens to be that the book that I took upon myself was inspiration for the way that I actually wrote Kindness Boomerang, the reason why I wanted it to be a lesson a day. And that book is called A Lesson a Day. It's written by, and it comes from the teachings of a rabbi by the name of the Chafetz Chaim that spoke about the importance of our words and speaking inappropriately and protecting our mouth from saying negative words, saying gossip, saying negative things towards people. Because if you think about it, right, our mouth is the greatest vessel that we bring our inner thoughts into the world. Words have the ability to destroy a world and also to build one up. And so we have to protect our vessel so much, this essence of our mouth and the words that we say and what we allow ourselves to say. And so I took upon myself to read this. And every day, and it was also broken up the same way that my book is broken up, every day there's, one short lesson. And it wasn't about reading it all at once. It would take me a year to go through the book because it was about absorbing it, about allowing it to sit on you, reading it, and then being able to contemplate, okay, now that I finished reading it and I go out there and I'm in my regular dealings in the everyday world, how will I apply that into my life? The only way to be able to make that change is if we allow it to happen slowly and over time, taking a step, one step at a time, every single day. So my challenge to all of us out there is to choose one book. And I'm not talking about just, going out there and buying a bunch of self-help books. This is not self-help books. When we're talking about values, when we're talking about ethics, we're talking about our essence. But in order to choose the appropriate book that we want to start with, ask yourself the question, how do you want to be remembered? What values do you want people to say that you have? Just about a half hour before I made this video, I heard the tragic news, as many of you may have heard, that Kobe Bryant passed away in a helicopter accident. And it's very devastating for many people around the world. It's not just because Kobe Bryant is a basketball player, and he was a very, very famous basketball player who, scored crazy amount of points, and he was amazing in his field. That wasn't the only reason why there are so many people that are super let down by what's happened and really in pain seeing what's going on. It's because of the person that he was, the values that he held true to, the ethics that he lived by or that he tried to live by, that he continued to work on. Those are the things that people are talking about. They're not talking about his crazy scoring record. The messages that are out there are talking about his values. That's how we want to be remembered. So the first step is to ask ourselves, how would you want people to remember you? That is our greatest legacy. The legacy that he left is a legacy of his character, is a legacy of his values. What values do you want people to say about you? If it's focusing on the fact that you always had a positive thing to say, so then get a book that's to do with that. But do not read this all at once. Take it slowly and absorb what you're reading. Figure out how can you implement that day. To give you an example, okay, I'm going to actually start reading this book again, picking this up again after some years of not having read it. And I'm going to just open up just one random page here, okay? And it talks here about different prohibitions about speaking negatively about others. One of the lessons states, one must not succumb to social pressure and engage in gossip. And it goes on and it shares a story and so on and so forth. So imagine taking this nugget, not succumbing to social pressure and engaging in gossip. Now you can take this in so many ways. So once you read whatever it is that you're reading, the real hard part comes after you've read it, after you've closed the book and walked out the door for the rest of your day. How are you going to implement it? Are you going to start becoming aware of situations like this? Are you catching yourself before you do those things? That is how we work on our inner selves. And that's my challenge to all of us out there. I'm going to be taking on my book. You guys can choose whatever book it may be. But remember that your greatest legacy is your values, your character, your ethics. That is how you're remembered most. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me again for the weekly Kindness Kickoff. I hope to see you again next week. And please do check out our newsletters on our website. You can click on the sign up button in the top right corner at LifeVestInside.com, and you can sign up for the Daily Kind or the Kindness Flash, or both of them. Check out our exciting offer that we have right now on our website. You can feel free to pick up a copy of our book. And please do take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Sending love and condolences to the family of Kobe Bryant and all those who've been positively impacted by him. Remember that each and every one of you out there, that we all leave our legacy. The question is, what will you choose for your legacy to be? Thank you guys so much. And remember, it's kindness that keeps the world afloat. Mwah.